Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another collection pickup video. Just wanted to share with you guys the comic books that I've gotten for these last 5 weeks. First off, I wanted to share some back issues. Here we have Venom Lethal Protector issue 2. These back issues, next back issues I'm going to mention, I got from my brother. He's still trying to clear out some of his stuff, and he's still a little short on cash, so I still had a couple of more comic books that I wanted to pick up from him, and I did. So I bought from him Venom Lethal Protector number 2. Picked up Venom Lethal Protector number 3. Venom Lethal Protector number 4. And this is where they start introducing the spawn of Venom. After Venom created Cletus Kasady, this organization also cut off a piece of Venom and created, I think it was 6 symbiotes. But this is the issue where the first one appears. And that's all he had for Lethal Protector. But he also had Venom Separation Anxiety issue 2. He had Venom the Hunted issue 2. Venom A License to Kill issue 2. Venom License to Kill issue 3. And Venom the Hunger issue 1. This is the more disturbing Venom miniseries because the symbiote starts making Eddie Brock hallucinate, and at the end of this issue he's fighting against some thugs, and all of a sudden he smashes one of them into the walls, and the symbiote has a hankering for brains, and he actually eats a guy's brains, which causes Eddie Brock to want to get rid of the symbiote. But the cover is pretty interesting to look at. He also had these Undertaker comic books that he bought a while ago, and he wanted to get rid of them. He actually wanted to get rid of them before the Undertaker lost the streak, so he had those, and I picked them up. This is back when Chaos Comics was still around, and the WWF was also still around before they made the switch to WWE. But this is issue 1 of the Undertaker comic. And this is issue 2 of the Undertaker comic with a photo cover. I also have issue 0, which was a free giveaway in Wizard Comics. I'm sorry, Wizard Magazine. So I have those 3. Also picked up 2 Spawn comic books from him, mostly because of the covers. Let me see if I can get that to work. This is issue 71. Where Spawn is like a werewolf or a vampire something, and issue 77 where he has angel wings. They actually made a toy out of this cover that looked pretty badass. My brother has that toy, but I always thought this cover looked really awesome, even though again I don't collect Spawn. On to some newer stuff. Picked up the Superior Spider-Man issue 29. Where J. Jonah Jameson releases his Spider Slayers, but they've been hacked by Osborn, or the Green Goblin took control of it, and he's just taking the fight to Superior Spider-Man and beating him pathetically. Which story continues in Superior Spider-Man issue 30, and Pete, the ghost of Pete's memories, is able to get everything together, and he actually confronts Doc Ock, and Doc Ock realizes that he can't beat the Goblin, so he apparently deletes himself and lets Spider-Man do his thing. But that's going to be interesting. I don't think that's the last of Doc Ock. I actually think he might have downloaded his memories into that robot servant that he had. But basically this puts Peter Parker back, or I don't know how they're going to really handle that, because it's technically not Peter Parker. It's what's left of his memories But that's going to be interesting to see how much that plays into it. But yeah, the next issue, Superior Spider-Man issue 31, is going to be the last Superior issue. And then they're going to reboot Amazing Spider-Man. So yeah. Also picked up the Superior Spider-Man Annual number 2. And this came out really fast because the last annual didn't release that far ago. But this deals with the Urich Goblin and with Carly Cooper. It has 2 stories dealing with that because that they weren't able to fill here. So at least it's a nice side issue to the Goblin Nation storyline. Also picked up Avengers issue 27. And this is getting confusing. I really don't know what's going on. The Avengers are kind of fighting an evil version of the Avengers, while at the same time AIM is doing their own stuff. It's a very, very confusing storyline, and I'm not really liking it that much. I'm actually thinking of dropping Avengers, but they also have, as a bonus, no extra charge, they have the first issue of Invaders. So you get 2 issues for the price of 1, so that was pretty cool. Also picked up Uncanny Avengers issue 1. I'm sorry, I got thrown off. It's Uncanny Avengers issue 18, but it's the first part of Avenge the Earth after the Apocalypse twins bring a Celestial to destroy the Earth, and it does. The remaining mutants are inside this ship, and Havoc and the Wasp are the only heroes left that are still trying to bring order to this, because it's been a while since the Celestials destroyed the Earth, so that's actually proving to be a lot more interesting. Oh, also forgot to mention, in Superior Spider-Man issue 30, you also get the complete first issue of the Black Widow new book that came out, so that was also pretty cool. I forgot to mention that. Picked up Batman 21, another big issue which deals with Dr. Death. It has the Riddler causing massive destruction in Gotham during serial year. So again, what can I say about this Batman team of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo that I haven't said before? It's an amazing run, and I hope they stay for the book as long as they can. Also picked up the Hunt, Batman and this time it's Batman and Aquaman, the first part of the Hunt for Robin, where Ra's al Ghul has stolen the body of Talia and Damian, and Batman's trying to get those bodies back. They're hinting that maybe it's possible that they might bring back Damian, and I hope they do. Picked up the last issue of DC Universe versus Master of the Universe, where the 2 teams try to put a stop to Dark Orko. And they do, but this is going to continue in the monthly Masters of the Universe, so really not that much consequence to me. All in all, it was an interesting crossover. As a kid, I was into superheroes and Masters of the Universe, so I always thought what would happen if those 2 cross over. And all in all, it was interesting, and it was surprising to see what they did with Orko there. Picked up Deadpool versus Carnage. This is written by the same guy that did the Deadpool Kills trilogy and Night of the Living Deadpool. And as far as I know, or as far as I can remember, this is the first meeting between Deadpool and Carnage. I don't remember them ever facing off before. And it promises to be really, really cool, because they're both freaking insane. Carnage is a evil butcher, and Deadpool is fourth wall crazy. So this promises to be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to the rest of these issues to see how Deadpool plays off Carnage. And yeah, really, really, really excited about that. Picked up Simpsons Comics issue 210, wherein by a chance of the town charter, Homer becomes the chief of police. Love Simpsons Comics. Picked up Superman issue 29, where Superman's facing off against Starfire. This was a so-so issue. Picked up Superman Unchained issue 6. This issue was supposed to end in issue 9, but issue 6 and issue 7 was going to release in May, and then the other one was going to release in June, but DC has canceled those solicitations, so I have no idea what's going to happen now. I really hope it doesn't. This book doesn't share the same fate as Batman, All-Star Batman and Robin, where the 2 last issues didn't release. In this case, it would be the last 3. But yeah, I hope DC releases it and doesn't leave another unconcluded series, because honestly, that sucks. Picked up Superman Wonder Woman issue 6, where Superman and Wonder Woman take the fight to Zod and Fiona, I think her name is. And their plan, Zod's plan, is to open a portal into the negative zone that will release everyone that's trapped there. But they also mention Warworld, and Warworld was a big thing in the old DC universe. That would have been interesting, but the way that they stopped them is that they're inside a power plant, and with Wonder Woman's sword that can cut through an atom, they cause a radioactive meltdown at a power plant, and they cause an atomic explosion, which seals the portal, apparently seals the portal, but leaves Superman and Wonder Woman in really bad shape. And then that continues in issue 7, where Superman and Wonder Woman are really beat up. They introduce these 3 ghost things that might be anything, but the big thing is that Doomsday is at the very bottom of the ocean, and he's slowly reaching the surface. So yeah, the big Superman thing is going to be called Superman Doomed, where Superman faces off Doomsday in the New 52 for the first time. Picked up Swamp Thing issue 30, where Swamp Thing gets tricked into inhabiting a human host, but his avatar body gets stolen away, and the human host body is poisoned, and he's dying. So another brilliant decision by Swamp Thing. He's been doing some really stupid things, but it makes for good reading. So I freaking love Swamp Thing. It's really cool. It's always a good read, just like Batman is. Picked up issue 5 of Amazing X-Men, which officially brings Nightcrawler back from the dead. The whole team's trying to stop Azazel from taking over Heaven, and Nightcrawler does something with the blue baths where they kind of like fuse into a human body, thus bringing him back. They stop Azazel, and Nightcrawler's back in the land of the living, but apparently the process made him lose his soul somehow. So that's not going to bode well for him, but Nightcrawler's back, and that's always cool. Also, Xavier makes an appearance. He's also in Heaven. Picked up Uncanny X-Men issue 19, which starts off the war between S.H.I.E.L.D. and a Cyclops rogue X-Men team, because S.H.I.E.L.D. is making and building Sentinels, so that puts him at odds with Cyclops and his team. Might be interesting to see how this follows through. Picked up What If Age of Ultron issue 1. Much like last year's Avengers vs. X-Men, they started doing these what if stories around this event, which kind of sucks. I would have preferred Infinity. If they were going to do a what if story, I would have preferred Infinity over Age of Ultron, mostly because I didn't really like Age of Ultron. But it also makes sense that they would go this way, because the second Avengers movie is going to be called Age of Ultron. So the way that this what if story works is that they show what would happen to the world if a key Avenger was not there anymore. In the main Age of Ultron story, Hank Pym gets killed by Wolverine, and that pretty much messes up the world. In the first issue, the Wasp gets killed, and it shows what happens then. And it's a really dark issue. It's the thing that happens in the story is really dark. It's really cool, I thought, even though the what if premise doesn't make that much sense in this book. But still, what happens in that book is pretty awesome. In this one, issue 2, it shows what would have happened if Tony Stark wasn't there. Tony Stark, this is around the time where Tony Stark was a really bad alcoholic, and one of his rivals sends him a poisoned bottle that kills him. So this guy takes over Stark's company and unleashes an army of Stark bots, which destroy the world, and only Wolverine, the Hulk, a new Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man are there to stop them. This one wasn't as cool as the first issue, actually. Picked up Witchblade issue 173, which has Sarah Pazzini back holding the Witchblade, but also a new Angelus is after her. I decided to drop Artifact, so I don't know how that's going to work out. And they've already skipped a year ahead, so this makes no sense because I dropped Artifacts. But yeah, it's still a good read. Ron Marz still brings his A game to the book, and the new artist Laura Braga does some pretty good work there. Picked up Wolverine issue 3, which basically tells, I guess, Wolverine's last mission with the X-Men before deciding to go rogue, and the Superior Spider-Man, turns out, is the one that designed his crappy-looking new costume or body armor, whatever. It's not cool. I'm not liking that storyline at all. Picked up Origin number 2. This I'm liking. This is issue 4 of Origin, and still dealing with Wolverine's first days with Sabretooth of all people. And he's being hunted down by Mr. Sinister. This I'm actually liking a lot more. This is really cool, and the artwork by Adam Kubert is awesome as well. Picked up Savage Wolverine issue 16, still dealing with this flashback issue of Wolverine. One more issue to go, and this storyline will conclude, and that's when I'll drop Savage Wolverine. I have to drop a couple of more issues, and this is the one that's going to go. And the last book to show is Wonder Woman issue 29. Firstborn defeats Apollo, and he's basically taking over the throne. But Hera receives her powers back. Apollo grants her powers back, and she transports the Wonder Woman team into Themyscira to have one last fight. She actually reverses the curse and brings all the Amazons back. And Wonder Woman decides to take the mantle of God of War and lead them all into battle. Really liking this. Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, and the Batman and books are my favorite DC books right now, as I've mentioned before. It's going to be a real shame when Brian Azzarello leaves the book, but yeah, so far his run has been really cool. But yeah, that was the comic book pickups of this last period. Some really good reading, some okay reading. Like this, I'm not liking this. Like always, I like to make the recommendation of the book. And if you're a big Nightcrawler fan and you've missed him after he got killed in the last X-Men event that happened a couple of years ago, pick up the Amazing X-Men run 1-5. Next issue is going to have Nightcrawler facing off against Mystique, his mother, so that promises to be really cool. I was thinking of dropping Amazing X-Men after that, but I might give Amazing X-Men a little more time. It's grown on me, and it's really cool to see Nightcrawler back, and they've promised that they're going to bring Colossus back. So yeah, and so Amazing X-Men is my recommendation, and also Deadpool vs. Carnage. This promises to be bloody and violent and freaking crazy. So if you're a fan of Carnage or Deadpool, or even if you're not, pick it up, because this is cool, and yeah, this promises to be really amazing. The only big book I skipped on was Batman Eternal, and the reason why I skipped that, despite I'm a big Batman fan, is that it's going to be a $2.99 book, and it's going to release weekly. So I'm really trying really hard, and sometimes failing really miserably, to cut down on my books. So a weekly $3 book is gonna throw that away. It's gonna mess up my economy. Something fierce. So that's the only big book that came out that I did not pick up. Yeah, I just can't afford a weekly $3 comic book right now. Also, didn't pick up X-Men Legacy 300. I was going to, but I decided to put it back in the shelves because I don't know. I just can't really afford to spend that many money on comic books anymore. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop buying comic books. I'm still gonna buy comic books, just trying to cut down and not buy as many. But like always, thanks so much to everyone that watched this video. Like always, please leave a comment, leave a recommendation, your thoughts on any of the books or the current storylines. And like always as well, thanks so much for watching, and until I see you again, this is Vargas XX78, signing out.